car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell, and this week I'm going to feature an older build of mine. This is a 1970 Hemi Cuda Convertible. Pretty rare and desirable car that makes some serious headlines now. And it's kind of funny because all of them exist, but a very rare car. For 1970, Plymouth decided that they would offer the Hemi Cuda. They would offer it in a convertible when they really decided to go to town on this car and see how it went. And it's kind of funny that it wasn't a very good seller, and I understand the convertibles weren't as fast as the hardtops were, the extra weight and plus body twist, and the price was a limiting factor as well. But they offered these for 1970 and 1971, and if you watch the auctions, and they hit the record prices because this broke into the millions. Matter of fact, I got a book that says $1 Million Muscle. It talks about just Hemi convertibles, e-body convertibles, not just the Cuda, but the Challenger as well. So, and it actually has this car featured in pictures in that book, along with the white 71 Hemi Cuda convertible that was the last one made, because that's the export France car. This is the very first 70 Cuda convertible made. It's the press car or pilot car, depending on which you see, because it did both and was believed to have been crushed at one time, but obviously that didn't happen. And in that book they also have the Nash Bridges 71 Cuda convertible, and they also have a 70 Challenger convertible Hemi car that's purple. For Dodge, they only offered the Hemi Challenger RT convertible for the 1 year 1970. It did not return. Only 9 of those were US cars, and I believe 12 total as far as production. But for 1970 Plymouth, 18 of these were produced worldwide. There were 14 US cars, there were 3 Canadian cars, and 1 export to I believe Europe, but I'm not really sure where exactly it was exported to. Finding the specifics on each one of these cars is kind of difficult, but when you run into a specific car, you can get some of the details, especially when it goes to auction, because they'll advertise the history of them. This car, and all 4 of those cars featured in that book at the time, I believe were in the Pratt collection here locally. And funny story to go along with that. The local show here, we had a Good Guys show, and in the Good Guys show they have a model contest show in it, and a lot of the local guys, many modelers I know and I've helped with the show, but we enter our cars to bring them to the show. And I brought this one particular year, and I had it on display, and one of the handlers of the Pratt collection, he actually saw this model kit there. Now, I was at the show, but I was out around the show. I wasn't at the model table at the time. I would go back in there and check on my buddies and see what was going on. And then they had told me, said, "Hey, this guy was here and he knows the real car that you modeled here." And he goes, "So this is I'm like, "Yeah, this is a model of an actual car." So he's like, "Well, he saw it, and he was telling us that he actually has driven the real car, and he works on it, and he handles the Pratt collection, which is where the car was at the time. Currently the car is now in the Brothers collection, so you can kind of see it online in some of their videos as well, although I don't think they featured this actual one in their show. But I'd like to see them do that, because they've got a whole bunch of the convertibles. They got some amazing cars in that collection. So in 1970 they produced 14 US cars. 5 of those were sticks, which this model kit is actually a stick, and ironically I got the shifter in there backwards, but I'll have to fix that sometime. But the real car is an automatic. The other 9 cars were automatic. This one, the pilot car, should be an automatic, but I left the model kit as a stick. But I detail painted it and did all the rest of it pretty much like the real car. See, on the underside, Revell gave you the manual transmission, but they also gave you the 8 3/4 rear end, which would not be correct, as this real car is actually a 410 Dana track pack car, but it's an automatic, which is kind of unusual. There's a lot of unusual features on this. Now, those 14 cars, only 2 of them are red. This original pilot car, which is the only one with the red shaker and the red interior, and it was used on the sales brochure. The other red car has a black interior, and I believe it has a black shaker. and this one also had the rubber front bumper instead of the chrome front bumper. So it's a pretty well loaded auction car, but it was a press car and a pilot car, so it was like double duty. But when it came to this, I started with the Revell Nash Bridges 71 Cuda Convertible Kit, which came out in 2003. But I used a resin trans kit that I'd had for a long time. I don't know why, but sometime in the late 80s, early 90s, I had bought a couple of them. Aar Cuda Conversion Kit, which I showed you in the Aar Cuda comparison video. And I've kind of showed you in glimpses that build. But it was meant for the 71 hardtop Hemi Cuda, so you can convert it into a 70. So they gave you the grill, and they gave you these taillight inserts, so you just open the hole up and glue them in place. The rest of the rear, you pretty much didn't have to do anything. Now, he gave you those parts, and then he gave you this grill, which those headlights, they're just there, they're not clear. It's just molded in tan resin, and you just paint everything. But he didn't give you this valance. I had actually taken the valance panel, cut the 71 top off, filled in the sides here, and redid the opening and everything. And then I added these off the Aar Cuda and glued them on there. And I cast these. I made a few of them because they didn't offer this part. So I had made my molds and cast this part, which is where this had come from. And then, you know, his grill. And on the side here, I had added the rocker moldings, which don't come in the kit. It's kind of crude, but it was from one of the street rod kits. It was a hood that had all of the perforated louvers punched into it. And I just made a mold, and I cut sections of them. So there's actually like 3 or 4 sections here. There's 1, 2, 3 sections, and I glued them in and painted them silver. The rockers on 70s that were grilled like this were not chrome. They were actually painted silver. So I put them on there to replicate that. And it came out pretty nice. I just didn't bother changing it to an automatic tranny or fixing the rear end on this one. I left it the 8 3/4 because most of the time I really don't look under here. I keep dropping that shaker and forgetting about it. But the hood isn't falling off. But there's the Hemi engine, and I left the carburetor's chrome. I usually strip the chrome now. Same thing with the alternator. But this one I said I built back in 2006, so it was done a long time ago, and I get a little bit more detail oriented with that. That I did paint the shaker body color, just like the real car. And then polished the paint up a little bit here. It was pretty dusty, just had to clean it up really good for you guys. And all of those decals that are in there, they all came in the kit. And then I blacked out the back side of the grill because it pokes through and you can see it. But she came out pretty nice. And I'm really going to have to fix that shifter. I didn't really notice that I had it in backwards, but I'll turn that around. The rest of the interior I did in red. The real car has leather interior. And this one's just kind of a little too flat, but that's just what I had used at the time. But she came out really pretty. And these decals, they're Fred Cady decals, which I've got multiple sheets of those because I plan to build a few other 70 Cudas. And I have built a few other 70 Cudas, but this one was the easy to find at the time Nash Bridges Hemi Cuda Convertible. And then they released it a few more times as just a Hemi Cuda Convertible, but they're all 71s. And then, you know, one of the things that kind of shows up now, you can see in the shine there. There's where the Fender Gills were. I had sanded them smooth, but the putty I had used had shrunk in a little bit. So you can kind of see it. It hasn't cracked, but it's a little visible right there now. But, you know, she may not win a show or anything, but I'm still very proud of it and really happy with it. And, you know, some of the conversions I've done. But she's a beauty. I figured I would show it off a little bit. But I've got a few others to do. And I'll do a video on another one of my stalled projects because I have another one that I was going to do. Not really to replace this, just do another one because I had all the parts. And I just really enjoy these cars. But, and watching, you know, the values, and I just really like the really loaded cars. But watching where they go and seeing the restored ones online and show off, and it's kind of fun just to keep track of some of that. But they've got some varied stories. But this is a very well-known one, and was at one point thought to have been destroyed and crushed as a pilot car. But it survived. It made it out into the public, and it was sold. Don't know the full history on it because it really hasn't been sold at auction. I don't remember the last time it's been featured in a magazine either. Super rare car, but definitely an unusual one because it's loaded leather, the super track pack, and it also has the body colored shaker, which most of them did not. And last little piece of trivia was, I understand because they used, it was either the convertible or hardtop, but they painted the shakers body color, and then they decided that in ease of production that they would offer the shakers only in argent or black. But because it was in the sales brochure, it was pointed out to them that if they ask for the car in red, you're going to be obligated to paint the shaker red or give them that option. For 70, a red car could have a red shaker. So pretty rare, but pretty cool. They really didn't do them in any other body color, but just a red one because it appeared in the brochure that way. And I guess somebody in Chrysler Legal had pointed that out, said, hey, you've got it featured in red, you're going to have to do it in red. So they did, but pretty rare. But all of the other cars, they offered the shaker. Well, the shaker was standard on the Hemi Cuda convertibles, but they offered it in body color and red only. All the other colors, you got the silver, argent, or the black. Interestingly, on the 70 Challenger convertibles, the shaker was an option, but not a single one of those cars got the shaker option. They all have the standard hood. And where the Hemi Cuda convertibles, every Hemi Cuda came with a shaker that was standard with the Hemi Cuda. So I think that's interesting as well. Alright, that's one of the dangers of taking some of these models that I haven't really looked at in years closely. When I take them out, clean them up, polish them off, and go to show you on the build here. I mentioned that the shifter was backwards, and so after I finished filming that video, I had to go in there and pop the shifter off and glue it in the correct position. Sometimes you don't notice some of the errors you've made on some of your builds. As I get better and read and research these vehicles, and the more I learn, sometimes I'll fix things. So I did turn that shifter around, popped it out with a screwdriver, and glued it back in place. So now it's pointed in the correct area. Even though there's some other things that I could fix on this thing, but I'm not going to tear this one apart and redo the whole thing, especially when I've got another one that's stalled that I will show you at a later date when I decide to start working on that one. But I figured I would just throw this in there as a little giggle to myself and correction that yeah, I had to pop that out and glue that in the correct way. So I figured I would show you this little insert and continue on with that. But thank you. But I think that's kind of enough rambling on this one. So thank you for tuning in and subscribing and watching. I really appreciate it, and all your comments. And you guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday.